Hey guys, welcome back to my craft room and back to another craft room chat, and we are doing our crafty book of the month. So I decided to read The 12 Secrets of Highly Creative Women, a Portable Mentor. I picked this up with the intention of it being amazing and awe-inspiring, because it's 12 secrets, so clearly we haven't heard them before, right? But after reading it, we've heard all of them. At least I'm pretty sure we've heard all of them. I think even most of the main points I've talked about on this channel, so it was kind of misleading. I mean, I guess maybe when the book came out they were secrets, but I don't know, because actually I don't even know when the book came out, so. But I picked it up at a yard sale for like $1 or something, and this is the book that actually inspired the Crafty book talk whole video series, and I thought that this one was going to be the one that just blew us all away. And I'm actually kind of sad that it kind of disappointed me. There were some good points though, but it started off with kind of a synopsis, I think that's the right word, of everything, all of the points kind of combined into one, or a few points in general. And it talks about, the cruel art teacher that talks about how your artwork isn't very good, or they just kind of destroy you because they don't like your style or whatever. And I think that is something that really needs to stop in the art world. It happens so often, and I see it so often. It is crazy. It's not even just art teachers in general, it's just people in the whole art community are just always tearing each other down. But this book specifically talks about women and how, like, women in the art community are tearing down other women in the art community, and I think that it's a very detrimental thing because art is very personal and only you know the true meaning behind what you are creating. So it's kind of hard for someone to judge that your art isn't good. So, and then when they tear you down because of it's not good, what are they really saying, So I think that's something we definitely need to stop, and I agreed on that point. There is also, it talks about the starving artist, how many women are generally don't take chances when it comes to creative risk, which we've talked about before, because they feel like they need to get a monetary value out of their creative time, out of what they create. So it kind of sets them back from doing it, but they need to. Essentially, it's their outlet, and it also empowers other women when they see other women doing it. So that also needs to happen. But one of the things that really bugged me, and it was like, well, actually I have it written down here. I think it was within the first like 11 pages. She contradicts herself so much that I almost put the book down and did not get it back up because I was so frustrated. But I'm glad I stuck it out because, even though I don't agree with her writing, there were still parts from other people that I enjoyed. But I'll tell you why I don't agree with her. So she talks about successful women. Quotations. She points out that they are, here, let me read the quote. They too are successful. Okay, great. Awesome. I love that, because any woman is successful because there are so many things that they are already, moving past. But then she adds, but by their own parameters. So she is trying to influence women. She's trying to say that any woman could be creative or whatever and be successful. But then she adds, but by their own parameters. So that means she only thinks that women who are essentially in the same level as men are successful. And that, ooh, it irks me. So it kind of, um, fails her, flaws her thinking, because it says that success is brought on by the thoughts of other people. It's the standards of other people that are creating success and what you have to strive to do it. But in reality, self-fulfillment should be success. I think we might have talked about that before, but I can't quite remember. We've talked about so much. I feel like sometimes we, you know, repeat ourselves a lot, but a lot of these points, you know, they kind of need to be repeated, because at certain times they don't quite, you know, work, but then in other times it can be a lifesaver, or, you know, it really helps drive a point home when it's something you're actually dealing with at that point in time. So it's good to hear them over and over. So there were like a few, well, I can't remember. Oh yeah, features interviews with 45 women. So she talked to so many women, and so many women turned her down because of her point of view here. But I really enjoyed that she put in other women's perspectives and their stories. And that was really nice, because if she would have just left those out, I would have been so disinterested. Because I don't think I like her writing style. I don't like her point of view, but it's still good to read other people's point of view, even if you don't agree with them. But it was really nice that she included these other people's stories, because it kind of reinvigorates the idea behind the secret that, you know, kind of gives you an idea that, you know, people are actually going through this. This is how they overcame some things. This is how they made it work. I think that was a very nice touch. And I think this is the only reason I would recommend the book, is so that you can kind of get another sense of, you know, how these secrets actually work in, you know, real life. Because I know sometimes I say them and it's kind of like, okay, well then how do you apply it, or does this really work? So I think it's good to hear from other people, and, you know, other people's stories and different points of view, that, you know, these are actually working and that they could work for you as well. Each of the like little bullet points, or just little topics, I guess, have a challenge included. And it's basically just to get you to work with the secret and the, you know, underlying points in the secret, to kind of allow you to be more creative, or to move past things like the cruel art teacher. And I was going to write them all down for you, but there ended up being so many. I got to 16 and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna, because most of them are just re-saying what I've already said in previous videos. So it kind of, I don't know, it didn't quite make sense, because it would just be me doing bullet points of these challenges, which we've already done a video on. So I thought, you know, if you're interested in the book, you can read that, or just go back to my other Craft Room Chat videos, and you'll get those bullet points. I did enjoy that she had a quote on pretty much every page. It seemed like they were all females, which is good. which essentially that's what she was aiming for. But again, I didn't like her point of view on that, so eh. There were a few, well, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, well, actually, one of them is just an author. 3 books and 1 author that I read through this that I am very interested in reading. Once again, it was part of their stories that like really wowed me, and I think that it would be interesting to add those into maybe next year's craft room chat book talk. Trying to make sure I cover everything. Oh, I've got a few ideas of maybe like a challenge that I could do based on a quote. She says, I'm going to butcher this name, Carmela Yeager, carries a paintbrush around the house to prompt her to start painting and to remind herself of her vocation, which is not housework but chores. So they talk a lot about how, a lot of people or a lot of women do the housework and they feel kind of like selfish if they don't get the housework done or if they don't spend enough time with the children. So it kind of, I guess they talk about how selfish is an evil word in society now, but really it's not by definition. It's just looking after your own interests, which I feel like is very into the whole self-care movement right now and is very much a big comeback. And I'm very much a big fan of it because I used to be in that position of, being a caretaker and not taking care of myself and thinking that if I did anything remotely not related to helping another person, that I was being selfish, which I was, but selfish is not a bad word. You need to be taking care of yourself. It's kind of like the whole, oh, why can't I think of it? In the Bible, I don't know, I can't remember now. But basically, if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to help others. Kind of theme. So, my hand's starting to hurt. This book's big. But she says that narcissistic is a better word instead of selfish, because narcissistic is excessive. You are sometimes putting someone in danger because you are thinking about your interests more. I hope that I hope that came out right. So one of the quotes I loved is, oh, let me see if I can find it. I try to do like different points in pen and pencil so that way I don't lose my spot occasionally. So, but then I end up losing it anyway. So I need to start like getting gel pens and stuff and marking every different thing in a different color. I've heard that's a very good kind of public speaking tool. Like if you got flashcards and stuff and you lose your place. But anyways. Oh, here it is. But when we deny our creative ways for fear of being selfish, we risk living our lives without cultivating and offering the gifts that are ours alone to give to the world. And I loved that. Because ultimately we are giving our creative gifts and talents to the world. And if we aren't, feeling creative and we're feeling selfish, then we aren't able to help others. We aren't able to give our creative selves away. And that's kind of, as a creative self, that's kind of our whole world, is being able to create and give it away, or you know, being able to create and see other people's reactions to the thing, like musicians, and yeah. So, and then there's another one that I loved. Most women are so vaguely unsatisfactory, always doing secondary and menial things that do not require gifts/ability for others and never anything for themselves. Isn't like, okay, let me let me break that down. So, like, if you're just doing dishes and stuff all the time, you're not gonna feel, most of the time, women are not going to feel satisfactory. It's going to be just living day to day, doing those menial tasks that do not require your unique gifts or your abilities. And then you're doing these things for other people and you're not doing anything for yourself. So that was like, boom. Because I feel like all of us kind of get in the rat race or the hamster wheel. We just just go on a, oh no. Trying to, I can't, oh gosh. We just kind of bob through life. And with creative, like if you're trying to be creative, you got to be able to break out of that and, feel like you're actually doing something. And I mean, yes, you still need to do those tasks because no one, I mean, unless you have someone who will do the dishes, it's probably going to be your thing. But if you can combine it with something, or maybe do less of them, make it easier on yourself, like maybe paper plates. I know a lot of people are going to hate me on that because environmental, but actually paper plates are compostable, I think. So, but I'm just saying, take time to be creative. I stress this so much on my channel because everyone needs to take time to be creative and or do something that will allow them to have an outlet to, I'm big on the therapy, so allow you to have your therapy. So I think that is pretty much all of, what I took away from the book. I will say, if you can look past, well, I mean, you might agree with her, but the people who she interviewed are very inspirational and they have very great stories. So I think that is something that is very good if you're very interested in getting more into the nitty-gritty of the bullet points. But yeah, so I think that's all really I have to say about this book. I know, I was really expecting a lot more, but yeah, I think that it was good for, once over read, but a portable mentor, no. Alright guys, I hope that you are enjoying these crafty book talks. I am enjoying reading them and, making my bullet points, and my husband is getting very annoyed with my snide comments in the middle of reading. It's so interesting. Because I go down a rabbit hole a lot of the times, and I'm like, oh. And he'll just be like, what? So yeah, I think that, well, yeah, next month we'll do another book. I'm not sure what yet. It kind of just, one day I'll be like, oh, I should probably start reading a book, and then I'll just look at my shelf, or I'll go to the library, and I'll just be like, okay, I guess we're gonna do this one today because I am feeling that way. Alright guys, I hope you are having a crazy day, good crazy, not bad crazy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.